The next question has to do with redevelopment agencies. Mr. Hill, you go first. It's with redevelopment agencies being eliminated, are there other solutions you would advocate for affordable housing and economic development?
I certainly would and do and did. When redevelopment was eliminated with the budget bill ABX 26, we created ABX 27. And that bill was the kind of the fallback or the second phase of redevelopment or economic development. And in there were opportunities for housing. It's just that the formula that was used was that the problems of redevelopment were the money that was diverted from education in California. It was going from education to economic development, and then the state would have to backfill that money to education, and education was suffering, and then the state would suffer. The solution to that in the bill, the legislation that went forward and was passed, would have resolved that and provided money. The problem was that the League of California Cities and the California Redevelopment Agency sued the state over that, and the judge threw out both of those. So ABX 27 did not pass. I'm on the committee, the task force, to look at alternatives. We had an infrastructure bank legislation this past year, and we're still working, and I believe that we can find some way of using either tax increment in the future, just as we had with the redevelopment, and tie that in the manner that does not affect education and does not take away from the services that counties provide, and at the same time offer opportunities for cities to then go forward with housing allocations for affordable housing that's necessary. We have to solve that because with the high cost of housing in California, we need those tools in place.
Sally Lieber.
Well, I think that what I wanted to mention first is that most of the state's funds for affordable housing are federal funds that we, at the state level, pass through to the local communities. I think that we should add a system of incentives to give more funds to the communities that are willing to zone for affordable housing, that are willing to put up their own funds to move projects forward. And I think that we should have an incentive for regional areas or for county areas that pull together all of the providers of affordable housing and require that they use a common application. You know, we started to use the common application in higher education, and no one ever thought it could be done that Stanford would accept the same education or the same application that Yale does. But the common application has been very, very successful in higher education, and we need to have a common application for affordable housing. Right now, what happens is if an individual who needs affordable housing, perhaps has physical disabilities or financial disabilities in getting around, has to go to not just each housing provider, but each building that may or may not have a waiting list and submit a paper application to get into that building. I think that we could clean up our waiting lists a tremendous amount by having an organized database in our area of affordable housing and by having a common application to make it easier for people who are in need.